Hello everybody, New Manchester here, back with another video. And in this video, I'm gonna read something from Alternet titled, "Here are 10 things Europe does way better than America." We all know that the United States has a ton of problems, in Flint, Michigan, people have lead in their drinking water, and in southern states like Mississippi and Alabama, they have feces in their water. We have crumbling infrastructure. Road, bridges, water main systems, everything's crumbling. Crumbling airports. Trains run very slow in America. No universal health care. A very high crime rate. And what I'm about to read is gonna compare the US with countries in Europe. Okay, here it is. Here are 10 things Europe does way better than America. Sorry for not showing myself in this video. I couldn't read this on my tablet because, I couldn't read this on my Apple iPad mini because it kept freezing up and restarting over again. So I'm going to read it off of my desktop computer. And here it is. Europe is ahead of America when it comes to healthcare, better sex ed, and less violent crime. The term American expectationism is often tossed around by politicians. Neocons, far-right Christian fundamentalists, and members of the Republican Party in particular seem to hate it when anyone dares to suggest that some aspects of European life are superior to how we do things. But facts are facts, and the reality is that in some respects Europe is way ahead of the United States. From healthcare to civil liberties to sexual attitudes, one can make a strong case for European expansionism. That is not to say that Europe isn't confronting some major challenges. Neoliberalism, economic policies, and brutal anti-terrorism measures are caused considerable misery in Greece, Spain, and other countries. The unemployment rate in Spain, the fourth largest economy in the Eurozone, stands at a troubling 26%, although Germany, Switzerland, Denmark, and Iceland have lower unemployment rates than the US. 5.1% in Germany, 3.1% in Switzerland, 4.6% in Iceland, 4.2% in Denmark. But problems are all. Europe continues to be one of the most desirable places in the world. And the US, a country that is in serious decline both economically and in terms of civil liberties, needs to take a closer look at some of the things that European countries are doing right. Below are 10 examples of European exceptionalism in areas in which Europe is way ahead of the United States. Number 1. Lower incarceration rates. Benjamin Franklin famously said that those who are willing to sacrifice liberty for security diverse neither, and the US is more dangerous than most of Europe, especially in terms of homicide. Even though it is becoming more and more of a police state, the US incarcerations per capita more people than any other country in the world, In 2012, the U.S. incarceration rate, according to the International Center for Prison Studies, was 707 per 100,000 people, compared to only 60 per 100,000 in Switzerland, 72 per 100,000 in Norway, 78 per 100,000 in Germany, 75 per 100,000 in the Netherlands, 87 per 100,000 in Switzerland, 99 per 100,000 in Italy, 103 per 100,000 in France, and 144 per 100,000 in Spain. Currently, the failed war on drugs in the prison/industrial complex are major factors in the U.S. appallingly high incarceration rate. And unless the U.S. seriously reforms its incarceration drug laws, it will continue to lock up a lot more of its people than Europe. Number 2. Less violent crime than the U.S. Major European cities like Brussels, Paris, Berlin, and Milan can be very bad for non-violent petty crimes like pickpocketing. The trade-off, however, is that much of Europe, especially Western Europe, tends to have a lot less violent crime than the United States. Research conducted by the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime found that in 2012, the U.S. had a homicide rate of 4.8 per 100,000 people, compared to only 0.3 per 100,000 in Iceland, 0.7 per 100,000 in Switzerland, 0.8 per 100,000 in Denmark and Spain, 0.9 per 100,000 in Italy, Austria, and the Netherlands, 1.0 per 100,000 in Spain, 100,000 in France, and 1.2 per 100,000 in Portugal and the Republic of Ireland. Russia, however, has a homicide rate of 9.2 per 100,000 that year, but overall, one is more likely to be murdered in the U.S. than in Europe. Number 3. Better sex education programs, healthier sexual attitudes. For decades, the Christian right has been trying to convince Americans that social conservatism and abundance only sex ed programs will reduce the number of unplanned pregnancies and sexually transmitted diseases. The problem is that the exact opposite is true. European countries with corresponding sex ed programs and liberal sexual attitudes actually have lower rates of teen pregnancy and STDs. Looking at data provided by the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, the Guttmacher Institute advocates for youth and other sources, one finds a lot more teen pregnancies in the US than in Europe. Correspondent sex ed programs are the norm in Europe. However, in 2008, there were teen birth rates of 5.3 per 1,000 in the Netherlands, 4.3 per 1,000 in Switzerland, and 9.8 per 1,000 in Germany, compared to 41.5 per 1,000 in the United States. In 2009, Germany has 1/6 the HIV/AIDS rate of the United States. 0.1% of Germany's adult population living with HIV or AIDS compared to 0.6% of the US adult population, while the Netherlands had 1/3 the number of people living with HIV or AIDS that year, 0.2% of the Netherlands population compared to 0.6% of the US's adult population. Number 4, anti-GMO movement much more widespread. Anti-GMO activists are fighting an uphill battle in the US, where the Monsanto Corporation, the leading provider of the GMO seeds, has considerable lobbying power and poured a ton of money into defeating GMO labeling measures in California and Washington state. Some progress has been made on the anti-GMO front in the US. In April, Vermont passed a law requiring that food products sold in that state be labeled if they contain GMO ingredients. Monsanto, not surprisingly, have been aggressively fighting the law, and the GMO corps have been planned in Mendocino County, California. But in Europe, GMO restrictions are much more widespread. France, Switzerland, Austria, Germany, Bulgaria, Hungary, Poland, and Greece are among the countries that have either total or partial bans on GMOs. And in Italy, 16 of the country's 20 regions have declared themselves to be GMO free when it comes to agriculture. Number 5, saner approaches to abortion. Logic never was the Christian right's strong point. The same far-right Christian fundamentalists who favor outlawing abortion and overturning the U.S. Supreme Court's Roe v. Wade decision in 1973 cannot grasp the fact that two of the things they bitterly oppose, contraception and a comprehensive sex education programs, reduce the number of unplanned pregnancies and therefore reduce the need for abortions. But in many European countries, most politicians are smart enough to share Bill Clinton's view that abortion should be safe, legal, and rare. And the irony thing is that European countries that tend to be sexually liberal also tend to have lower abortion rates. The Guttmacher Institute has reported that Western Europe, favoring in different countries, has an average of 12 abortions per 1,000 women compared to 19 per 1,000 women in North America. Eastern Europe, according to Guttmacher, has much higher abortion rates than Western Europe. Guttmacher's figures take into account Western Europe on the whole, although some countries in that part of the world have fallen below that 12 per 1,000 average. For example, the UN has reported that in 2008, Switzerland, where abortion is legal during the first trimester, had an abortion rate of 6.4 per 1,000 women compared to 19 per 1,000 women in the US that year. And Guttmacher has reported that countries where abortion is illegal or greatly restricted tend to have higher abortion rates than countries where it is legal back alley abortions are common in Latin America and Africa. Clearly, better sex education, easier access to birth control, and universal health care are decreasing the number of abortions in Western Europe. So instead of harassing, threatening, or terrorizing abortion providers, Christian right needs to examine the positive effects that sexually liberal attitudes are having in Switzerland and other European countries. These Christian fundamentalists are right-wing Christian fundamentalists are a bunch of brain-dead, ignorant whack jobs. And telling them this is just going to go in one ear and out the other. And I remember some idiot that sent me a comment on my channel telling me that Texas is self-efficient and the fastest way to die is to see a doctor. I think he's lootering to universal health care, but and he's talking about a lot of stuff out of the Bible, and he's just an ignorant, uneducated whack job who doesn't know anything. Anyway, okay. Number 6, more vacation time. In 2003, let me start over again. Number 6, more vacation time. In 2013, a report by the Washington, D.C. based Center for Economic and Policy Research, CEPR, showed how badly the U.S. lagged behind Europe when it comes to paid vacation time. The CEPR reported that 77% of private sector companies in the U.S. voluntarily offered their employees at least some paid vacation time, with 21 days off being the average. But the U.S. has no federal law mandating any time off, and that's quite a contrast to Europe. CEPR reported that government maintained paid vacation time in Europe includes 35 days off in Austria, 31 days off in Italy and France, 34 days off in Germany and Spain, and 30 days off in Belgium, and 29 days off in the Republic of Ireland. We will never get paid vacation time in the U.S. I mean, that's why in America people don't cherish life and enjoy life, because life is precious to all of us. I mean, we can die any minute, so we need to cherish life and enjoy it. But in America, it's like this. I mean, I'm gonna say this about America and Europe. In the United States, people live to work, and in Europe, people work to live. Let me start over again. In the United States, people live to work, and in Europe, people work to live. I mean, looking at the U.S. is nothing but a wage slavery, corporate overlord, workaholic lifestyle. I mean, it's like this: school work, rushing, getting to school, getting to work, school work. That's the United States of America. Okay. Number 7, universal health care. The U.S. made a small step in the direction of universal health care when Congress passed the Affordable Care Act in 2010. But the U.S. is so backwards when it comes to health care that implementing even gives the modest reforms of the ACA, which doesn't go far enough, has been an epic battle. Meanwhile, every developed country in Western Europe has universal health care, which is implemented in different ways in different countries. Some European countries have single-payer systems, the UK and Spain, while others have public/private systems, France for example. And others have systems that are essentially private and have employer-based insurance, but force insurance companies to adhere to the tough and strict government regulations. Obamacare, or the ACA, the US healthcare system, may end up looking more like Germany's, which reporter Alko Zizanka described as multi-payer, compulsory, employer-based, highly relegated, and free for service. But healthcare reform still has a long way to go in the US, where giant insurance companies call the shots and medical bankruptcies continue to be let me start over again. Sorry about that. My computer froze up. Let me start over again. Obamacare, the US healthcare system, may end up looking more like Germany's, which reporter Ogzun Zizaka described as multi-payer, compulsory, employer-based, highly relegated, and free for service. But healthcare reform still has a long way to go in the US, where giant insurance companies call the shots and medical bankruptcies continue to be more common than they are in Europe. Okay. Number 8, greater life expectancy. Easier and more affordable access to quality health care is one of the things that can increase life expectancy. And in much of Western Europe, people are outliving Americans. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, overall life expectancy, factoring in both genders, in the US is 79 compared to 83 in Switzerland, 85 for women, 81 for men, 82 in Italy, Sweden, France, Spain, Iceland, and Luxembourg, 81 in Norway, Austria, the Netherlands, Germany, Finland, and the Republic of Ireland, and 80 in Malta, the UK, Belgium, Portugal, and Slovenia. It should be noted that in some of the poor parts of the US, life expectancy is well below the WHO's 79 average and is comparable to what one finds in third world countries. In 2013, a report by the Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation at the University of Washington found that life expectancy for males was only 63.9 in McDowell County, West Virginia, and 66.7 in Tulalip County, Mississippi. So in McDowell County, the average male dies 18 years younger than the average male in Switzerland. Okay. Number 9. Mass transit systems. For the mass majority of Americans, living without a car is impartial. Public transportation is woefully accurate in most parts of the U.S., and only a handful of American cities make it easier to be without a car. among them New York City, Chicago, Philadelphia, and Boston. But even in those places, a car becomes a necessary in the surrounding suburbs. Europe, however, has some of the best, most expensive public transportation systems in the world. From London to Rome to Paris to Barcelona, mass transit is a way of life for millions of Europeans. And there are many advantages to that. Less congestion, reduced air pollution, health benefits, walking is great exercise, a vibrant street scene / sidewalk culture, and more productivity in the workplace. Getting to and from work is easier when the buses and trains are convenient and run frequently. Plus, making it easier for people to be without a car reduces the number of DUIs. Yeah, I like that. I like all of this so far. Looks like the U.S. needs to step up their A game. But our politicians just want to fight and bicker, and and all these right-wing conservative nutcases want to deem what I just read as socialism, and it's so bad. Fucking morons. Number 10. Europeans more likely to speak foreign languages. Barack Obama offended a lot of xenophobic Republicans when, during his 2008 presidential election, he noted that the U.S. lagged way behind Europe when it came to proficiency in a second or third language. But Obama was right, and in 2012, a European Commission report on foreign language study in the European Union, EU, found that on average, in 2009/2010, 60.8% of lower secondary education students were learning 2 or more foreign languages, and an increase of 14.1% compared to 2004-2005. During the same period, the portion of primary education pupils not learning a foreign language fell from 32.5% to 21.8%. The report found that in the EU, foreign language study often began as early as 6 to 9 years of age, which is quite a contrast to the US, where foreign language study is a relatively at the elementary school level and isn't nearly as common as it should be at the middle age or high school levels. Okay, and that's the end of that. Looks like Europe is way better than the United States. I mean, on everything. Healthcare, quality of life, transportation. I mean, comparing us with them, we are just totally backwards on everything. We're just a ignorant, backwards, crumbling, decaying, messed up in the head, weird, antisocial, brain dead, drooling pinhead country. And that's what we are. And it's just sad. It's really, really sad. I got some hate from these from some conservatives. I went back and forth with a brain dead conservative. And I made a video and I told him to watch my video on my channel. He watched it and disliked it. And I think currently at the moment I'm going back and forth with some idiot about about all the problems Texas is facing. He keeps shooting out religious crap and and don't look at like what the state is going through. I mean, it's like this. I mean, it just shows me that these people are just one of the people in America are just so incredibly stupid. I mean, they are just drowning in their ignorance. I mean, and my sister told me this. I mean, she told me this. No, we're not gonna have universal health care. That's a European thing. No, it's not gonna happen in America because we live in America. I can't talk to her about stuff like this because she just like blow into an argument, and she's a woman and she just don't have a clue, running on emotion, loaded up on too many medications and pills, and yeah. And she passed out twice. And the problem is, I mean, she's overweight and she's like drinking like cans and cans and cans of soda and Minute Maid fruit punch and lemonade that contains like high fructose corn syrup, and it's the reason why that she's fat and overweight. She's not gonna eat right. She's not gonna exercise. I mean, she's gonna keep consuming unhealthy foods and drinking all of this high fructose corn syrup affected soda and Minute Maid fruit punch that one day she's gonna pass. One day she's gonna pass away. And she talks about she's hurting all the time and her back is hurting her and she had surgery where she had pins put in her back, and it's the reason why that she just lays around and doesn't get up and exercise and walk around and take better care of herself. I mean, that's the problem with a lot of Americans. I mean, people. I mean, if there was a tax, if junk food was taxed higher and healthier foods were taxed lower, I mean, Americans who like junk food will get angry about this and they'll go crazy about this. I mean, they rather eat junk food than eat healthier foods, and that's why the obesity epidemic is through the roof. I mean, yeah, we talk more about obesity, but we don't do nothing about it. I mean, every time I when I go out, I mean, I went to convenience stores, I went to like Walmarts. I mean, I just saw like overweight people. I just saw fat women. I mean, I remember trying to get a job at a convenience store where I live, and there was these two cashiers. They were women. They were fat, and there was one woman who was the manager who was even fatter than they were. Like, and they were just incredibly ignorant and stupid. And they're just this nice old lady who's very talkative. And I noticed one day when I talked to her about the broken tax system, she just didn't want to hear it. I mean, I was telling the truth, and she was very conservative. So this country is going to continue to fall. This country is going to continue to crumble and fall because of brain dead, ignorant, conservative people, and PC culture, liberal, weak people who just get mad at you and everything. And I remember talking to one of these people. They just like, one of them just started acting stupid with me. I remember I was getting my teeth cleaned by them. I said something some right wing. I mean, I didn't mean to say it. I mean, it was an accident. You know, it was a slip of the tongue. And she just took it. I mean, the next day when I went to get my teeth cleaned by her, she just lost it and started acting stupid. And she was mumbling. That's what she was saying. And I think and after that, she disappeared. And she wasn't there anymore. And yeah. I mean, the United States of America sucks. And, you know, I'm not going near Canada. I mean, Canada's even worse. I mean, they got a universal healthcare system, but you know, they're no different from the U.S. I mean, you can't talk to people. You can't form friendships or cement a friendship. I mean, if you try to talk to someone about something, I mean, even though it's not ignorant, they'll ignore you, and they will. You know. I mean, next time if I go out and see someone wearing a Canada hoodie or a Toronto T-shirt, I'm not gonna look at them. I'm not gonna say anything to them at all. You know, maybe I need to stop talking to these stupid, crazy, psychotic people here in America. Keep my mouth shut. Because, you know, they might tell me I need to go see a therapist. Or they'll ignore me. Or they'll accuse me of being creepy and weird and awkward. Or they'll just give me dirty looks and ignore me. I'm probably not. I probably need to stop talking to these people. Yeah. Yeah. And you know, I'll probably have some luck with people in Australia and New Zealand. You know, there's someone from New Zealand that I see before I see my doctor. Her name is Inga. My friend Captain Brandon Horror Lover asked me about her, and he dubbed her the Kiwi Woman, and he wants me to put her in a video and put her in a video in one of in my on my YouTube channel, and I'm gonna see if I can get her. But I think she's really busy, and she's like helping people and like calling people when she like write down like paperwork and ask them, are your insurance, is your name is the same and all that. You know, that's the healthcare here in America. You know, in countries like Europe, you won't hear that at all. But yeah, I think that's all I gotta say. I read this from Alternate Net. Sorry I couldn't show myself because I couldn't read this and show myself by reading this on my Apple iPad Mini. It kept freezing up and starting over again. Sorry about that. Yeah. Oh yeah. On a side note about Europe, I remember I went to a mall in Hamburg, Germany, with my sister and my father. I mean, actually, I went there first with my sister. We went to this mall there and had the name Europa Passage. So we went in and we saw the mall, and we saw a grocery store in the mall. And if you go into one of the stores, I remember I went to this store and bought some sparkling mineral water there. You have to when after you pay for your things, they won't bag up your stuff. Or wait for them to bag your things up. You got to pay them to bag up your things. So when I got a whip of that was new. It didn't make me mad or anything. I just got to this in my mind. I said to myself, well, if I want to shop here, I got to bring extra money for this. And yeah, I didn't get a whip of the bathrooms where you got to put some euro coins in to unlock the door to use the bathroom. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's some things that you're gonna like and you're not gonna like about Europe. But overall, in Europe, it has its problems, but it's not in the extreme when it comes to problems like the United States is. You know, I'm probably gonna be happy in Europe. I probably will. And I gotta be aware of crime, petty crime like pickpocketing. I gotta be aware of that. I gotta know my surroundings, and I gotta use my common sense. I can't pull out my money and flash my money out because that would be an easier target for a pickpocketer. Just put things in my front pocket, not my back pocket. Just have common sense and just don't worry about a thing. Just watch out, be careful, and know your surroundings. And yeah, um, I've been to the United Kingdom, Belgium, Norway, Germany, and France, but I've never been to Spain, Portugal, or Italy, or those other countries in Europe. And I've never been to Australia. I've never been to New Zealand. But those are places I think I really I will go to those places. I will go to those countries, and also I'll go to Brazil and Colombia where Dog G, who I sub to, went to, and that'll be great. That'll be good for me. So I'm gonna end this video by saying this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Take care. Be safe. Bye.